Welcome to Horton Implants Oral Bites with your hosts, Kate Bootman, Will Murphy, and Carl Horton.
Well, everybody, welcome back. Hope you've had a good week, and more importantly, looking forward to a fabulous bank holiday weekend. Think we're going to get some nice warm weather, guys, so get that knotted hanky out and those string vests. You will see that I'm joined with the fantastic duo. We have Will Murphy and Carl Horton. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
You both all right?
Yeah.
Good. Oh, okay. We'll have to think about it. Right, gentlemen, come on. Indulge me. Carl Horton, how's your week been?
It's been like this.
You sound like you're at the fun fair.
I was going to say that sounds like the arcades that I used to go to in the 80s.
Yeah. It's been a Pac-Man week, just
Pac-Man.
Is it Pac-Man? It is Pac-Man. Yeah.
Oh,
For those of you that don't remember Pac-Man, then wow, you've missed out.
Yeah. I used to like Asteroids. Do you ever play Asteroids?
Oh, yeah, Asteroids. Yeah.
I mean, it would just look thoroughly pointless to any of the young generation now who play Call of Duty and stuff like that, and Fortnite. Yeah, where there was a little spinning triangle shooting one-dimensional rocks that are coming everywhere. I mean, it was even more basic than Space Invaders.
Do you know? Before I tell you about the week, my gran and granddad brought the family an Atari for Christmas, but they put it into a wardrobe, and they brought it about 5 or 6 months before Christmas, and me and my cousin discovered it. Ferreting around the house, and they used to go off to the garden centre on a Saturday and a Sunday. So we used to unwrap it and play on the Atari, and then wrap it back up again and put it away. And then at Christmas, we acted so surprised that this Atari was given to the family as a Christmas present. However, it to us it didn't seem strange, and I didn't realise it. And it was only when my granddad said, "Oh, you knew your way around that," because we put it together in about 30 seconds flat without reading the instructions, and then sat there for about 4 hours playing Pac-Man and just getting this massive score. And of course, it didn't even occur to us that they might realise that we'd been doing this. Anyway, my week, pretty good. Lots of fits of the full arch bridges, which is lovely. Seeing those all complete, some really nice smiles on those patients. Lots of, again, busy with all the consults, progressing a little bit more on our courses, Will, which you're part of, the restorative course. So we're looking forward to that. That looks like it's coming together. So we were meeting one of the other clinicians that are hopefully going to be joining the crew. And again, places have opened up, haven't they? So you can sort of have a drink inside now, as you know, Will, because you've been partaking in that. And I don't drink, so I can have a lemonade or a cup of tea. But yeah, you've checked it out more than I have.
Brilliant.
And what else? And my car is starting to fall apart, so I'm looking for a new car. It's the brakes were making a bit of a noise, and I've done some fairly decently long journeys, and I just thought, yeah. And then actually today, the BMW sign came on and said you need new brake pads. I think it's a BMW. Anyway, it's black. Looks like that.
Is it going to be a midlife crisis purchase?
It's probably going to be a nice safe Volvo. Something
sporty, soft top.
No.
Grow the ponytail. Get the snakeskin boots.
I've got the boots.
Rocket.
Yeah. No, I won't. No. Yeah. I don't know. We'll find out.
That might be a maybe, Will.
There you go.
Do you know what? I probably would, but I need to shove all the equipment in the back and cart it around. And the problem with all these flipping sporty cars is you just can't do that. No. There's just no room, is there? I remember one of our mates, Leonard. He used to love his sporty cars, and it was an MR2, and we've been down to the old OVT.
That's what I had, the Toyota.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
How much room is in the back?
Nothing.
Yeah. So there was three of us, and he said, "Carl, you go." because I'm slightly smaller than most people, and I used to be a bit slimmer in those days. So you just jump in the back. There isn't any room. You've got enough room for a baby's foot. that's about it. But yeah, like nice cars.
Yeah. So I think this might be the second car I bought after I graduated was one of those MR2s.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to think I was the bee's knees in that. It was called the T bar, I think, where you could take the glass panels off the roof and put them in behind you, just so my eyebrows could sort of not be bashing off the ceiling, as I drove through Selly Oak with my radio blaring with BRMB on one elbow. Yeah. Those are the days. Brilliant. But then, of course, I started having kids, you see, so I managed to get away with it whilst I had, one. I could put a baby seat in the passenger seat, but yeah, as soon as Chloe came along, that was it. Game over. Renault Megane or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. So, Will, how's your week been?
Yeah, very good indeed. As Carl said, you can sit inside now. So we actually went to more of a restaurant than a drinking establishment. There's a chain called Giggling Squid in Harborne High Street. Recommend that. Superb food. Work-wise, yeah, same old. It all keeps coming in thick and fast. A 4-day week, which is great. So very happy with that. And a few sort of challenging cases. One today where as soon as I opened everything up, and I knew it was coming from the CT scan, there was pretty big sort of cystic caverns, really, where I wanted to be placing my implants, So once I'd cleaned out all this granulous material, there was just about enough crestal bone just to cling on to the implants. And when I took the X-ray, I was just thinking, are they just going to be sitting in the bottom sideways, sort of just dropped in? So, yeah. So we'll say a few Hail Marys for those ones, but I think they'll be all right. They should be okay.
How
satisfying is it? Oh, go on.
Now, what do you use to clear out all the fibrous tissue, granulation tissue?
I don't have the burrs, and every time I do it, I keep thinking, oh, why didn't I order those burrs? It's just one of those things that I only think about when I start doing it. It's how my brain works. So yeah, big sharp sort of curette or excavator, and just sort of there's something satisfying about it in some ways,
That's what I was going to say. Your nurse with the suction must be like,
yeah, she's going for it. I'm like, back off. She's getting in there, just wait. Let me get it all out first, rather than the little floppy bit that's going in and out. Did I just say that? Yeah,
you did.
I think you did.
Can we cut that, Dave? Live.
Mate, old age.
Old age. There you go.
Oh.
So there you go. That was my excitement for the day. But good,
so,
yeah.
What about your scanner? I'm going to keep asking you until you tell me you've got one.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of vying between two providers, you see. So one is they're a lab, really. So I think their business model is that they'll sell you one at a relatively good price, provided you show a bit of goodwill and use them for your laboratory work. And the other is just a digital supplier who I got recommended to. So yeah, just really sort of bouncing between the two, just waiting to make that order.
Yeah. So you've still kind of thinking. So you've narrowed it down to two, and you're just looking at
providers, but it will be the Trios.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that what you've got?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I've heard it's interesting because I mean, obviously because you kind of mix with people that are doing the digital stuff, and the other one, the Medit i700, I think it's called, it's just replaced the i500, and a lot of people talking about that. Looks quite nice, and then some people telling me that the build quality is not quite as nice as the Trios.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting. So it's slightly smaller and a little bit easier to manipulate, open software, but the build quality just seemed to not be quite on the par. But maybe that's because people have bought the Trios and invested in it and are just going, yeah. So
you've got to do that.
Yeah, you have. And I just don't know. I don't know. I think You know, it's and then the other one is the CareStream one, which I think is supposed to be slightly better. But again, the build quality, I think for that, if you've got CareStream in your practice, because they kind of see themselves, don't they, with the CBCT machines and the software, is it all integrates a little bit more smoothly. But I've had no issues with the Trios at all. I've loved it. I think it's, you know, it's no regrets in the slightest with that at all. Yeah. And support's been pretty good. They're not slow at sorting out. It did decide to judder today on a patient I would have rather it didn't do, because she's got a timeline and I haven't got any. And normally I've got analogs lying around just in case. It's never happened, but I've always thought I always wanted that backup, and it just said not connected. Restarted it, switched it off and on again, like not connected. And I just thought, I wonder if you can take an impression of the scan bodies, is what went through my mind. I thought, could you do that? Because it's got the hex. So, yeah. You know, just put some grooves in so that it sticks into the imp material, or, you know, link them together. You know, it was getting to that point, and all of a sudden it went, yay! So I think it was just playing me up.
Just playing with you.
Just like the car. But yeah, good choice, I think, mate. I think you won't regret it.
Yeah, and presumably it sort of talks to everything else for merging with CBCTs. And
yeah, because you can just you can do what you want with it. So you can export the STL file onto your own laptop or computer, and then you can email that to anywhere. That's open. Their proprietary is I'm going to get it wrong, O3X something, I think, is the file name. That's the 3Shape name of their files, and that only works with 3Shape software. But you can send the STL file to anybody. So if you want to send it to me for me to put it into the CBCT, I could do that and overlay it onto a scan. Yeah. So yeah, it can be open, but it's got its. I think if you want the color, then you have to use their file, because the STL file is just monochrome. So it's just one color. But it doesn't matter when you're doing your CBCT data and you're overlaying like that, because you're not looking for all those little extra features. But I think So
if I was to have a CBCT, say from Cavendish Imaging, and I want to marry that up with my intraoral scan, what would I have to do as a sort of basic starter?
Well, you need your planning software. Okay. So you either purchase that. So 3Shape do their implant studio, or you've got Co-Diagnostics, which is Dental Wings, isn't it? I think Straumann still sell that one. I think they're kind of work together. Or I think you've got Blue Sky Plan, which is the free version. And then there are other ones as well. I can't remember the name of the other one, which is a Korean software. But essentially, that's another piece of software that you can put your CBCT in. And you need, if it's, we'll talk about Cavendish because you mentioned it. So you need to make sure that Cavendish have put a sort of an open sourced DICOM file. So their CBCT data is locked as they send it by email into their own little software. You can only read it. So you have to ask them for more of an open source file. It's the same file, it's just open. You can upload that into your diagnostic software, bring in your STL file, which is your intraoral scan, and overlay the two, make sure they match, you have some reference points, and then you can start planning where you're putting your implant and your tooth. And if you're going to go guided, build the guide, and hopefully the implant goes in where you want it to go in.
It's as easy as that.
It's easy as that.
So I guess a lot of this will be as good as how still the patient is in their CBCT scan. If you have a bit of inaccuracy there, if the patient moves or there's a slight inaccuracy there, how have you had any problems with this sort of thing? Or?
No, not. I can perceive that being a problem, but you tend to see that, don't you, when you get your scans and they're a bit blurry. So I could perceive that being a problem. I've not had any scans where I've been doing any sort of serious diagnostics on where it's been that poor that I couldn't figure out what was where they've moved too much. But I have seen some scans where I just thought, that's fine because I'm not using the guide. But it's you can just about make out where the tooth is, and then you take a PA just to make sure that you're not hitting anything that you don't want to hit. But yeah, I don't get many of them.
Yeah. And
you doing your scans, Will. I think you need to change.
No. I'm just yeah. perceiving issues.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And are you using guided for all your cases now?
No, still not using them for all the cases. I might, if I've got sort of like a couple of multiples, then and I'm just thinking, well, I just want to make sure that I've got things nice and parallel. Or I've got a bit of anatomy that, like you got a tooth with a bit of a dog leg on it, and I'm thinking I've only got, one go at placing that implant correct, then I'll use it for those. But sort of if I've got two teeth and a fair bit of bone, then I'm not using. I don't see the advantage of using the guided in those cases. I just think that's going to add the expense to the patient and the time, because you can. I suppose that comes with experience again. So if you've got that experience, you understand sort of where your anatomy is. And we talked a little bit about the full arch cases, and I was talking to one of the clinicians that was doing those, and they said that they don't do any of those digitally guided at all. It's all done by understanding where the anatomy is and respecting the anatomy and placing all the implants just by freehand. And then we were talking, and oddly enough, conversely, talking to Kate. How can I forget? Will, do you remember when we were in the ITI and we were in a bar for quite an extended period of time, and we bumped into James Hamill, and then he left, went to a 3 or 4 hour convention, and came back and said, "Are you two still in the same seat?" And I think we said something like, "Yeah,
where have you been? You just been to the loo and come back again." We probably thought he'd only popped out for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And we may have inadvertently drummed up some extortionate bar bill between the two of us. Anyway, getting back onto the professional conversation, he's got a technique that he was talking to us about, where you basically send your STL and your CBCT files, and they plan it for you. So for these full arch cases, they plan the case, and then they give you essentially a block that you place onto the patient as a stent, and then you can drill the bone down to the level and then put another part of the stent on, which guides your implants, and then the abutments go on, and then you've actually got the bridge ready and there fitted, which has been pre-made, that you then place on the day. So it's all made for you, but you have to sort of tick a few boxes before you can get it done. It sounds really good. Very interesting. I
think if you can rely on decent bone quality, be able to assess that accurately through all the imaging, then I guess that should be fine. Should be good, shouldn't it? If you get all your heights correct and everything, not a lot of room for error, I'd imagine, if you're hitting a bit of slightly softer bone, or it's just not quite securing your implant in the way you want it to. I'm very negative today, aren't I? I'm thinking of all the other things that could go wrong, but
I totally agree with you. I had a case, and the reason I totally agree with you is I had a case where, again, it was a upper arch overdenture case, but it was 4 implants, nice AP spread, but I wanted to put the most posterior implant sort of in between the 5 and the 6, but the sinus kind of came down quite steeply. And when I went in with the first drill, I thought, well, that feels okay. And then when I went in with the second drill, I thought, it's just feeling a little bit too soft. So started again, brought it further forward, and much happy with that. And you've got no room for that kind of sort of freedom if you've gone with something that's fixed and dictates where you're placing your implants.
Yeah, especially if it's from start to finish. I know you can get the, I think Dentsply kind of started the sort of tooth in a box kind of thing, where they give you everything from the drills to the abutment to the, a temporary prosthesis literally comes from your planning straight away. So everything literally has to be on the money. It has to go there at that height. The gingival margin has to be at the right place, and the bone quality's got to be good enough to load this straight away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say for people who are not experienced in having done plenty and think that everything's going to be digitally planned for them, and they just have to follow the numbers and drill the hole and put the implant in, then people could be in for a shock.
Yeah, I mean, sort of going off topic, it's related a little bit, but the practice, Bellwell practice over in I need to say Solihull then, but it's not Southern Coalfield. I always get the two mixed up. It begins with an S.
Both nice places.
Yeah. They had the Plan Mecca van turn up because they are investing in a CBCT machine for the practice, and the software that they're bringing out was lovely to watch. So they've got the Remexis software, which is quite a nice software to look at. And again, you can import your CBCT and your STL files and plan on that. So that's quite nice. But some of the things they were telling me about that they've got, so they've got a little video camera in your overhead light that can help you with smile design, but also connect it to the nav system, so the Navident system. So you can look at your CBCT whilst you're looking at placing your implant, and it tells you where you are in the bone at the time.
Weird.
Yeah.
Too clever.
Weird.
Too clever.
Yeah.
That would freak me out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing that you're drilling something. And I guess guys are doing laparoscopic surgery, aren't they? Which is probably more heavy duty than what we're doing, but still that's gonna mess with your head, isn't it?
Yeah. Which one do you watch?
find yourself looking at the screen. Yeah, that's what I mean.
At the screen, or you'd be, whoa, left a bit, right a bit.
Oh,
I'd like to go though. I'd like to go just to see what it was like. I know that they use it over in Carisbrooke. There's a couple of people that use it in Carisbrooke. Not the same system, but similar system. And I mean, the feedback that they were saying is that it's very slow. So it's a really slow learning curve. So it's going to slow your implant placement down a huge amount, because you just, and the advantage of it, I guess it's anatomical, isn't it? So, where does the advantage come if you've got lots of bone, you're not doing about anatomy, and you've got the skills to get them nice and parallel and in the right place, right height. Don't know.
I think all these things, when you've, like old people like me, you get sort of very dyed in the wool. You've been used to doing things a certain way, and I'm very open to all this. But it's a bit like if you're a skier and you decide to take up snowboarding. So in your head, you can fly down a mountain, but all of a sudden, with something different strapped to your feet, your brain's telling you, "I'm used to this. I can do this," but your proprioception is telling you something completely different. So, there you go. That's my analogy.
It's the adaptive cruise control for cars, isn't it? Yeah, I quite like it as well, actually.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Skiing, I remember that. Well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh.
That wasn't very good for the ski lift. Where was it? The beginning of the week or the end of last week that came down and killed
terrible
people.
Absolutely. What's the matter with you two tonight?
I know. Blinking hell. Full of the joy, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's get back on topic, everyone.
We're just coming out of COVID. That's it.
I know. Yeah.
Well, I told you a good story just before we come on air about those two lobsters.
You did indeed. Yeah,
two lobsters.
Indeed. Yeah.
Two lobsters.
You're going to tell everybody.
Well, of course, I shall share this with you all. There were two. This sounds like a joke, though, doesn't it? There were two lobsters in a bar. Two lobsters in a restaurant in Leicester, and the customer recognised that they're a rare breed. Two of them, and the story went that it's you get 1 in 30 million chance of catching one of these lobsters, and I think it's orange something, I can't remember, but he persuaded the restaurant owner to donate it or donate them to the Sea Life Centre in Birmingham. So they live to tell another tale, both of them.
I thought it was going to be the one about the barman having a go at the lobster. Kicking him out of the bar, saying, "You come round here, giving it all that."
Oh no!
Dad jokes,
right?
Courtesy of Will Murphy.
Such a perfect time, everybody. I think to round this evening off. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
And I hope you all have a fantastic bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, you
Slap
too.
your sun lotion on, don't forget, guys.
Yeah.
My thick head of hair ain't gonna cut it. Look, you can see it shining off the light bulbs here. Put your shades on,
mate.
Take care, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.